Monogamy, from the Greek monos, or single, and gamos, or marriage, denotes the practice of being married to one person at a time. Early human tribes around 30,000 BC exhibited various social structures, including monogamy. Archaeological evidence indicates monogamy became more prominent with agriculture's advent. Transitioning from foraging to agrarian societies profoundly affected social structures. The need to maintain and defend agricultural resources likely fostered stable, monogamous relationships. The first permanent villages in the Fertile Crescent show signs of monogamous family units. The rise of monogamy in early human tribes was significantly influenced by child-rearing practices. In monogamous setups, increased paternal involvement in childcare was crucial for the survival of offspring in harsh environments. Biparental care provided several advantages. Children received protection and resources from both parents, leading to higher survival rates. Studies of monogamous hunter-gatherer societies show that children had better health and higher chances of reaching adulthood. Monogamy facilitated stronger social bonds within tribes, creating more cooperative and cohesive communities essential for managing resources and defending against threats. Close-knit family units helped pass down cultural knowledge and traditions, vital for the tribe's continuity and identity. Social norms and taboos around monogamy regulated sexual behavior and reduced conflict within the group. Skeletal remains from early agricultural societies indicate less stress in monogamous family groups compared to polygamous or communal ones. Genetic data supports this. Mitochondrial DNA, passed matrilineally, shows low variance in these early villages, suggesting monogamous practices. As agricultural societies expanded, land inheritance became crucial, promoting clear paternal lineage and monogamous unions. Monogamy did not eliminate other relationship forms completely. In ancient Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers from 3100 BC to 539 BC, the Code of Hammurabi, dating to around 1754 BC, included 282 laws, many regulating familial and marital relationships, primarily promoting monogamy with some exceptions. Marriage was both legal and social, ensuring property rights, dowry arrangements, and inheritance laws. It involved intricate negotiations between families, with bride price and dowry as central components. While monogamy was prominent, upper social strata occasionally practiced polygamy, especially among royalty and wealthy citizens, for alliances and offspring. However, the dominant norm favored monogamy, especially among commoners. Evidence from cities like Ur and Babylon shows most households were nuclear families. Divorce was possible, but strictly regulated, protecting women and their property. Religious aspects also supported monogamy. Families were key societal units, with monogamous marriage ensuring stability and continuity. Inheritance laws were crucial, as property typically passed from father to son. Dowries significantly impacted family wealth and alliances. Monogamous unions consolidated assets and forged strong family ties without the complications of multiple wives. Mesopotamian society also reflected monogamous values in literature and myths. Epic tales like the Epic of Gilgamesh highlighted the significance of marital loyalty and partnership, depicting marriage as a sacred bond and reinforcing societal norms. Monogamy was prominent in legal documents and contracts found in archaeological sites. Tablets from cities like Uruk and Susa contained detailed marriage contracts, stipulating the rights and responsibilities of each spouse, clearly indicating expectations of monogamous relationships. For the average citizen, monogamy meant societal acceptance and adherence to deeply rooted traditions, upheld by both civil and religious authorities. Women's roles were influenced by monogamous norms. While men held dominant positions, monogamous marriages afforded women protection and stability. They managed households, raised children, and engaged in trade and weaving, contributing to the family economy. Artifacts and inscriptions depict women as active participants in family and economic life. Temple authorities supported monogamous marriage by offering blessings and maintaining records, further cementing monogamy as a societal cornerstone. Monogamy in ancient Mesopotamia was also enforced through societal sanctions and penalties for deviations. The Code of Hammurabi prescribed death for both the adulterous wife and her lover, underscoring the importance of marital fidelity for social stability. Social repercussions affected the reputation and standing of those involved. Community norms and expectations maintained monogamy through social ostracization or shaming of transgressors. Education and upbringing reinforced monogamous ideals from a young age, with boys taught to honor and protect their future wives, and girls learning household management and loyalty. These teachings were intertwined with religious education, emphasizing loyalty and commitment by temple priests. Rituals and ceremonies around marriage, including offerings to deities and communal gatherings, highlighted the sanctity of the marital bond, ingraining monogamy in the collective consciousness. Archaeological finds, such as marriage contracts and personal letters, illustrate the everyday application of monogamous principles. Letters between spouses often express affection and loyalty, depicting a society where emotional bonds were as important as contractual obligations. Legal inscriptions provide insights into resolving disputes over marital fidelity, reflecting a legal framework designed to support monogamy. And monogamy, a term describing a committed relationship between two individuals, has nuanced roots in ancient Greece as well. Greek society traditionally embraced polygamous relationships, with men often having multiple wives or concubines. However, over time, monogamy began to take hold, particularly in Athens and Sparta, each with unique social customs around marriage and family life. In Athens, while men often sought companionship outside marriage, the societal ideal began to emphasize a monogamous, devoted relationship between husband and wife. The philosopher Socrates and his marriage to Xanthippe demonstrated a complicated relationship, but one rooted in the emerging norm of monogamy. Socrates spoke about the virtues of a balanced family life, indirectly promoting monogamous bonds. Sparta adopted a different approach. Spartan women were granted more freedom and held in higher regard compared to their Athenian counterparts. Despite this, societal expectations leaned towards monogamous unions, largely due to the city's militaristic values and need for stable family units to produce strong warriors. Mythology also played a role. Deities like Zeus and Hera depicted a divine, albeit tumultuous, monogamous partnership. In examining monogamy's development in ancient Greece, it's crucial to consider the legal and societal structures reinforcing these norms. Marriage laws and customs were significant. In Athens, laws controlled marriage, inheritance, and children's legitimacy. Athenian law mandated one legal wife per man to ensure clear inheritance and citizenship lines, promoting monogamy by emphasizing legitimate heirs. In Sparta, the focus on producing strong warriors influenced monogamous unions. The state's collective nature made each family unit vital for Spartan strength and continuity. The Spartan marriage ceremony, often involving unique rituals, emphasized the bond between husband and wife. Both city-states viewed marriage as a societal duty, reinforcing monogamy's significance. In religious contexts, rituals and festivals celebrated marital fidelity and spousal union. For instance, the Athenian festival of Thesmophoria honored Demeter, the goddess of fertility and marriage, further supporting monogamous relationships. Myths and legends, like those of Odysseus and Penelope, highlighted loyalty and fidelity within marriage, providing idealized models for Greek society. Exploring monogamy in ancient Greece reveals significant insights into women's roles and property rights. In Athens, women primarily managed households and bore legitimate children. Although their rights were limited outside familial duties, they influenced monogamous marriages. Dowries, essential in Athenian marriages, acted as economic agreements reinforcing bonds. Stable, monogamous marriages ensured property and wealth remained within families. In contrast, Spartan women enjoyed greater freedoms and managed property, yet their roles also emphasized producing strong, legitimate children, reinforcing monogamous unions. Spartan women's property rights surpassed those of other Greek women, giving them significant influence and aligning familial structures with monogamous norms. Education and social systems perpetuated monogamy. Athenian boys were educated to become responsible citizens, understanding the importance of a stable family. Public marriage ceremonies promoted the social ideal of monogamous relationships. Greek literature and philosophy, with philosophers like Plato, considered the household integral to a well-ordered society. Shared responsibility in monogamous marriages was seen as crucial to societal stability. Thus, through legal structures, societal expectations, and cultural norms, ancient Greece established a clear preference for monogamy. Monogamy in ancient Rome, on the other hand, became a societal norm by the late Republic and early Empire periods, around the 1st century BC to the 2nd century AD. Initially influenced by Greek polygamous practices, early Roman society included concubinage. However, upper-class Romans adopted monogamous marriages to ensure clear inheritance and political alliances. These legal marriages, called justum matrimonium, required both partners to be Roman citizens or have connubium, a specific legal capacity for marriage. Emperors like Augustus promoted monogamy through moral reforms to restore noble Roman virtues. The Lex Julia de Maritandis Ordinibus, enacted in 18 BC, encouraged marriage and penalized adultery. This shift towards monogamy aimed for social stability and control over patrilineal lineage. Figures such as Julius Caesar and Cicero upheld monogamous norms publicly, despite personal scandals, reflecting the era's complex moral landscape. Women in monogamous marriages, though under their husband's legal authority, manus, experienced relatively improved social standing compared to those in polygamous arrangements. Divorce was permissible but socially stigmatized, especially for the noble class. Thus, monogamy became essential, evolving through cultural influences, political necessity, and legislation, shaping the core of Roman family structure during the early centuries AD. The shift towards monogamy in ancient Rome was driven by legislation and moral reassessment. Augustus's Lex Papia Papaya, enacted in 9 AD, promoted procreation among the upper classes while penalizing celibacy and childless marriages. These laws aimed at boosting the birth rate among Roman citizens, which had declined. The Augustan reforms sought to revive traditional Roman family values, emphasizing the father's role as paterfamilias and reinforcing the importance of legitimate offspring. Monogamy provided clarity in lineage and inheritance, crucial for maintaining aristocratic continuity and state stability. Roman literature and legal texts from this era reveal a society grappling with its values and the role of women within the domestic sphere. While the ideal of the loyal, monogamous wife was celebrated, women faced significant societal constraints, including limited property rights and the expectation to prioritize family over personal ambitions. Intellectuals like Seneca and Tacitus pondered these social norms, with some advocating for greater female agency within monogamous marriages. Monogamous unions afforded women a more secure social position compared to alternatives. The entrenchment of monogamy also influenced Roman inheritance laws, ensuring estates were preserved within families. By the 3rd century AD, monogamy had firmly rooted itself in Roman society, driven by cultural shifts and public endorsement. The rise of Christianity significantly influenced monogamous practices. Early Christian teachings emphasized the sanctity of marriage and the union of one man and one woman as divine order. As Christianity gained prominence, these values integrated into Roman legal and social structures. The Edict of Milan in 313 AD, which legalized Christianity, further entrenched monogamy by aligning secular laws with religious ideals. Prominent Christian figures like Augustine of Hippo wrote extensively on the moral imperatives of monogamy, framing it as a cornerstone of Christian life. Additionally, economic considerations reinforced monogamy. Concentrating wealth and property within nuclear families necessitated clear inheritance lines, which monogamous unions facilitated. These economic imperatives were crucial in a densely populated and competitive empire where familial stability could determine social standing. By intertwining religious doctrines, legislative measures, and economic necessities, monogamy in ancient Rome evolved from a social policy to a cornerstone of personal and state identity. And now, the good old Middle Ages. Monogamy in the Middle Ages was influenced by Christian doctrines. The Church promoted monogamy for social and political stability, consolidating land and noble lineages. St. Augustine deemed monogamy essential for moral order, rooted in divine law. Christian teachings condemned polygamy and upheld marriage as a sacrament. Church councils, like the Council of Trent, reinforced the indissoluble nature of monogamous marriages, stressing fidelity and enforcing it through ecclesiastical courts. The feudal system also shaped monogamy, especially among nobles, where marriages secured political alliances and ensured legitimate heirs. Among peasants, monogamous unions were common, influenced by local customs and church teachings. However, fidelity was not always strict, as historical records show. The Church imposed penalties for adultery, ranging from public penance to severe punishments. Despite the Church's efforts, some regions showed flexibility regarding marital fidelity. The concept of courtly love emerged, highlighting romantic ideals often outside marriage. This phenomenon underscored the complexities and contradictions in medieval marital norms, where institutional monogamy coexisted with divergent romantic practices. During the Middle Ages, royal and noble marriages balanced personal relationships and political strategy. Monogamy, enforced by the Church, maintained power structures. The Church's influence was evident in significant marriages, such as Eleanor of Aquitaine and King Louis VII of France, showcasing the intersection of religious principles and political expediency. Their marriage, sanctified by the Church, was annulled on the grounds of consanguinity, reflecting the Church's control over marital legitimacy. This case highlighted issues like inheritance rights and the transfer of vast estates linked to monogamy and legitimate lineage. Noble women wielded considerable power through their marriages, managing estates and acting as regents. Their fidelity was expected to ensure the lineage of heirs, tying female honor to monogamous expectations. For knights and lesser nobility, chivalry intertwined with monogamous ideals. Knights swore fealty to their lords, and often to a single lady, embodying the chivalric code, which upheld loyalty in service and romantic pursuit. This did not preclude extramarital affairs, which were sometimes overlooked if they did not disrupt marital alliances or produce illegitimate heirs. Monogamy in the Middle Ages was a complex blend of religious doctrine, political necessity, and evolving social customs, reflecting the multifaceted nature of marriage and fidelity during this era. Monogamy in the Middle Ages was reinforced by legal and social systems. Canon law, established by the Church, governed marriage across Europe, with ecclesiastical courts handling marital disputes, including adultery and annulments. Annulments were rare, requiring substantial proof, underscoring the strictness of these laws. For common people, monogamous marriages were economically and socially necessary, relying on cooperative labor from both spouses. Marital fidelity was expected but not always practiced, with infidelity often handled privately unless it caused significant social disturbance. Literature, such as Christine de Pizan's writings, advocated monogamous ideals while acknowledging the challenges. The societal importance of monogamy is evident in customs and laws aimed at upholding it. Sumptuary laws sometimes extended to marital practices, and the Fourth Lateran Council in 1215 mandated public marriage announcement, reinforcing community support for monogamy. Monogamy in the Middle Ages was a dynamic institution, rooted in religious doctrine and social necessity, continually shaped by the changing medieval landscape. Moving forward in time, in the 18th and 19th centuries, monogamy became idealized in Europe and North America. Legal structures, cultural norms, and religious teachings emphasized lifelong partnerships. Marriage was seen as the cornerstone of social stability, believed to provide a strong foundation for raising children and ensuring order. Christianity promoted marriage as a sacred union between one man and one woman, symbolizing Christ and the Church. The bourgeois class embraced monogamy as a marker of social status and respectability. Marriage manuals depicted the ideal wife as virtuous, devoted, and loyal, reinforcing the notion that a woman's primary role was within the home, supporting her husband and caring for their children. Infidelity and extramarital affairs were not uncommon, but were conducted discreetly to avoid scandal. Divorce was rare and stigmatized, favoring men in custody and property disputes, leaving many women trapped in unhappy marriages. Economic factors significantly influenced monogamous practices in the 18th and 19th centuries. The Industrial Revolution spurred societal changes, expanding cities and elevating the working and middle classes. For the emerging bourgeoisie, monogamous marriage symbolized stability and respectability, essential for economic success and social mobility. Property laws and inheritance practices bolstered monogamy, as clear succession lines were vital for passing wealth and titles across generations. Women faced substantial economic dependency on their husbands. The legal doctrine of coverture subsumed a married woman's legal rights and obligations under her husband's, limiting her financial independence and making it difficult to leave an unhappy marriage. Despite these constraints, some women found ways to exert influence and gain autonomy within monogamous marriages. Economic, legal, and cultural shifts impacted monogamy in the 18th and 19th centuries. The Enlightenment introduced ideas about individual rights and personal freedom, subtly influencing marriage and relationships. Monogamy and traditional family structures remained dominant, but marriage began to be seen as a personal contract rather than purely economic or social. Romanticism in the late 18th and early 19th centuries emphasized love, emotional intimacy, and personal fulfillment in marriage. This period highlighted the emotional and psychological aspects of marriage over its economic and social functions. Infidelity, while still condemned, started to be understood in more complex emotional terms, sometimes seen as a failure of the marital relationship rather than just a moral failing. Despite evolving attitudes, the legal framework remained rigid, often trapping individuals in unfulfilling marriages. Efforts to reform divorce laws and promote equitable marriage practices gained momentum towards the end of the 19th century, paving the way for progressive changes in the 20th century. Today, for many, a committed, exclusive relationship holds significant emotional and psychological importance. The persistence of monogamy in modern times is multifaceted. Legally, monogamous marriages simplify property rights, inheritance, and custody, as legal systems in many countries support such unions. Socially, monogamous relationships are seen as more stable and respectable, providing a reliable foundation for raising children. The cultural ideal of finding the one and living happily ever after also upholds monogamy. Psychologically, deep emotional bonding and trust in exclusive partnerships contribute to partners' mental well-being. High divorce rates and growing acceptance of alternative lifestyles have led to a more fluid understanding of relationships. The rise of digital technology adds another dimension, with dating apps allowing people to explore multiple potential partners before settling down. This digital landscape challenges traditional monogamous relationships by providing more opportunities for connection and infidelity. Despite these challenges, many still choose monogamy as it aligns with their personal values and desires for commitment and exclusivity. Understanding the evolving dynamics of monogamy is essential. The growing awareness of mental health underscores the importance of healthy relationship dynamics. Monogamous relationships, emphasizing mutual exclusivity, can provide a stable environment conducive to mental well-being. Partners must engage in open communication, trust building, and address underlying issues to maintain a healthy relationship. Gender roles within monogamy have also evolved. Modern interpretations increasingly support equality and shared responsibilities. The acceptance of LGBTQ+ relationships has expanded monogamy beyond heterosexual norms, highlighting that the desire for exclusivity spans various orientations. Socioeconomic conditions also play a key role in modern monogamy. Economic stability can enhance relationship satisfaction, while financial stress can strain unions. Public policies supporting work-life balance, parental leave, and affordable childcare strengthen monogamous relationships by reducing external pressures.